So we will see how we do. Okay. Let's kick this story into action. Okay, so. What's this? What's this? What's this? Through the door. Pardon me. Right then, so I'm just going to give folks a moment to tie themselves in. Are those who wanting to listen to Sirenscape able to hear it?
Yes.
What happened to Tavish? Why is Tavish nearly dead?
Remember the shootout? I'll get to that in the
Oh,
summary.
yes.
I like that. What the hell happened to Tavish? Which was an echo of when Dave first signed on and went, oh yeah, I forgot how much stress I'd taken.
I feel like it's Tavish that happens to Tavish.
Yes, thank you. That sums it up very nicely.
Oh, hold on.
Are you disputing this to be fact?
Yes. Well, at least this instant.
Okay.
Look, I defended the engineering without phasers,
Yes, you did.
and I got
Sorry.
shot twice by disruptor weapons.
You did bring a spanner to a gunfight.
You did.
Yeah, and the spanner won.
Yeah. Eventually.
I believe that's a Pyrrhic victory.
Well, maybe Pyrrhus should have armed himself with a hyperspanner. Who knows?
Can I ask, how many hyperspanners am I allowed to have?
Do you like have a
Being
belt
allowed?
full of them or something?
I just want I
throwing
want
axes.
I want like 4, like 2 on each side of me.
So a holster with a hyperspanner on each hip and spears behind. Gotcha. Alright then, well before we get into a quick summary of what happened, and since both Liz and Chris will be joining us at a later point, I'm just going to quickly throw us over to the intro video and then we'll get cracking. So, excuse us folks, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm almost sorry, but not enough. Not sorry enough. You could say I'm pretty sorry to begin with, but let's get off of me and get on to the more important things, like Star Trek Combs. Okay then, so last time we were here was the Combs crew had managed to pursue a Klingon vessel which was in the same star system as the Combs crew who were supposed to be taking shore leave here. But hey, we can always try and get some shore leave some other way, eh? Let's just pray it's not on an episode, because then you know it's going to go wrong. But nevertheless, an aperture at the edge of the Hefner Bay System seems to be causing a small amount of problems, because it's directed the attention of the occupants of an old Klingon ship. But over the course of last half of this episode, we discovered that the Klingon ship was actually full of Orions, who then proceeded to try and board the combs. Well, they didn't try, they succeeded. And they've tried numerous things to attempt to seize control of the vessel from you all. Now, the combs itself is still pretty banged up with a number of damaged components in need of repair. Not the least of which is the fact that the injector assembly of the warp drive, or the warp core I should say, has got a crack in it, and therefore needs some pretty urgent TLC before you can even consider getting power back. But it'd be Chris.
Hello.
Was the Wasabi quest successful?
Nope.
Oh no.
No, turns out Asda, or I suppose any British supermarket, is not the best place to go for, like, you know, somewhat foreign. Yeah. I can get ketchup, but
ketchup,
alas.
yeah. No problems at all.
Sauerkraut or horseradish is a.
It's close, isn't it? It's a type
bit of horseradish, bit of green food colouring. Job done.
They'll never know. They'll never know.
I think the cheaper stuff is just horseradish with green food colouring.
Well, there you go then, Chris. Problem solved. Just don't tell Connie. Ah, hang on. Sorry. May have dropped you in it there, dear boy. Nevertheless, how we ended things with the combs was there's an ongoing hostage situation in sickbay. Currently, our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sott, and a number of injured patients, injured crew members, are being held in sickbay by a number of Orion pirates and their leader. But the crew came up with a rather ingenious plan to have the emergency medical hologram disguise itself as Captain Sobek in order to keep them busy. But of equal importance is the fact that the crew also once again experienced these weird visions or hallucinations. We're not entirely sure what yet. Where some folks had visions of their distant past, some folks had visions of their recent past, some folks had visions of potential future, and Dr. Sott was witness to a weird effect where the leader of the Orion boarders put down his disruptor pistol on the desk that he's currently sat behind, Dr. Sott's desk, and the disruptor pistol disappeared to be replaced by a hypospray. So there's still plenty weird going on. But I would like to now begin our adventure, but before I do, I'm going to throw us over to the Utter Crisp channel. As I wave at these videos here that you can see before you.
Hello, yeah, so same as usual for me at the moment. I've actually had to take a bit of a hiatus on the Phoenix Wright video. I'm actually, and this is only as was exciting for myself, but I'm doing my sort of editing debut for like an internal thing for where I work. So that's a project I've been working on. That probably won't see the light of day, but you know, that's fun. But yeah, work will resume on the Phoenix Wright video at some point very soon. If anything, getting stuck back into editing something else is sort of like, you know, lit a fire within me. So hopefully sooner rather than later for more retro review videos.
Nice. From a role-playing gaming perspective, it's a very similar case, apparently, with both players and games masters who can suffer from burnout. Too much of a good thing can and does leave you burnt out, so it's often recommended that you go off to one side and try something different for a little bit, but similar enough so that you can get your fire back. So, yes, nice parallel cross-pollination there. So, before we crack on... Why, Mark? Something different and yet linked, and that was what you came up with? I know for people who are watching the stream right now, you can't see what I'm looking at, but I'm not sure I want to share it. Anyway, let us go to Deck 11, Main Engineering. As I quickly couple off the ship rumble because we don't have one, and let us go to strange goings on. So change the ambience. So, back down in engineering, Commander Tavish, Chief of Engineering, has just come off of having that strange vision of hers where she pictured herself back in the mission to escape a mycelial construct before it collapsed back into its home dimension. And this time she changed the events that transpired rather than following what happened before. And so, as Tavish pictures herself tumbling backwards down the inside of the mycelial construct as she watches her compatriots of the away team get beamed away... Ooh, speaking of compatriots... Hi, Liz.
Hello.
We've only just got started, so don't worry, settle in. Whilst I am dealing with Tavish.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Well,
Ominous.
I think we've already established that I don't need to do much. I just need to let Tavish be Tavish and the rest sorts itself out. In any case, Tavish is now watching as the away team is beamed away and she's left in the mycelial construct, knowing that she is now trapped in the mycelial realm, and she hears an echoing voice somewhere off behind her going, "Chief? Chief? Hey, Chief!" At which point she feels a hand latch onto her shoulder to spin her around. And just like that, Tavish finds herself back in engineering on the combs once more. And Ensign Carly Kenson is... it's no use, I still can't say it without chuckling. Damn you people. Is the one that has spun Tavish around to have a word with her. Chief, you with us?
Apparently that was the plan. I think.
Okay. Well,
Ensign,
don't let that whole thing with the Orions go to your head or nothing, because as impressive as it was watching you and Girani chase the Orions off of the engineering section, the rest of us have actually been doing our job.
Okay. All right. Ensign. First of all, enough with the sass. Second of all, I need you to answer me a question. When we went to the mycelial realm...
Mycelial. A marsupial, I'm afraid, is a type of mammal.
Which be a cool realm.
Yeah.
However, yes, a subspace realm full of marsupials would be very fluffy.
My mycelial realm. Did we have to go back and save the captain, or did we have to go and save back me?
Are you feeling okay, Chief?
Just answer the question.
Huh. Okay, well, folks around here classified it as the search for Sobek, so, you know, the search for Tavish didn't have quite the alliterative ring to it, so...
Okay, alright. Okay. Okie. Alright.
Well, I was
What
just
call?
about to give you a report.
Yes, what call?
So, the rest of us have managed to put together what we think is a workable patch job on the injector assembly crack. And we reckon we've got it as stable as we're ever going to make it, so... if we're ever going to try and get power back to this bird, now would be the time.
Okay. Let me go and check your work, and
Okay.
we'll go from there.
So, we've done our best to patch the fissure. It was a micro fissure, but nevertheless, when we come to matter and antimatter annihilation processes, even a microfracture can turn into something a lot nastier. So we've welded it shut as best we could. We've reinforced it with whatever we could prise off of places to try and create a patch job of a fix. We reckon if we try and start this bird off with a mix of, say, 0.01 of a microgram of deuterium and antideuterium, see if it works, and if it does, we can go from there.
Okay. Alright. She goes to a computer.
Yep.
And it goes, alright. Implement it.
Okay, so this is going to be very delicate work. So you're trying to restart the matter-antimatter annihilation process, and from what Kenson is suggesting, you're feeding the smallest of small amounts of both deuterium and antideuterium back into the intermix chamber so that the annihilation process can produce power filtered through the dilithium crystals. So let's see if this will work. Now, technically speaking, I don't think... Yes. Who have we activated today? I don't think Kenson was one of them. It was Jirani.
It was. No, it wasn't Shirani. It was Kenson.
It was Kenson.
It wasn't. It was Kenson. It wasn't Shirani. Kenson. Oh no, I think it was both. Was it both?
I'm pretty sure, at the very least, yeah, both probably, because at least one of them hurled a spanner at somebody's head.
Yeah. I held a spanner. Kenson used her grav ball.
That was it. Her grab ball. She threw a ball at the guy's head. That's it. Now I remember.
Knocked him out. And I think it was Zorani who.
She definitely phasered somebody, didn't she?
Yeah, she did. The person who got away.
Right. Okay then. So that means both engineering sub-characters, supporting characters have been activated, so that's great. So, who would you prefer to use, Kenson or Jirani, to help restart the warp core?
This is going to be a control engineering role.
Probably.
Then I want Kenson, because warp field dynamics is going to be a good focus as well for her.
Cool. So let's have Mark. I'll go in order of those with you. Mark, if you could be Ensign Carly Kenson. Still makes me chuckle.
Control engineering 1 dice.
Control engineering 1 dice with Tavish's control engineering 2 dice. Any and every focus that comes down to warp engines or intermix ratios. Aha! 1 success from Kenson. 3 successes from the Tavish. 2 momentum back into the pool, and as the deuterium and antideuterium start to collide, the warp core comes alive!
What?
Starship-wide Engineer Fight Club was on. Yes, you know it.
I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
You're not. What? You mean the SWEFC?
Just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
It does.
Sweffuck. Nah, it doesn't.
The two rules are: 1, never talk about it, and 2, we really got to come up with a better name for that thing.
Tabled for next meeting, a better acronym.
I like to feel like Kenson was the one who came up with the name.
So, even though you've only got small amounts of power, that small amount of power is enough to feed the warp core, which means we have a nice healthy thrum going on. Now, you will not have tremendous amounts of power, but at the very least you're producing enough to start bringing systems back online and not have to rely on backup battery systems.
Okay, I am going to call the captain.
Which is good timing. Yep.
Yes, and let him know that the warp engine is back on for the time being, and we've got a minimum amount of power at the moment.
Very good. So, to deck 1. Let's load. So, just as a quick recap, Tavish is only got her token here for convenience. Same with Garrow for the time being, because as security, he was last set the task of helping secure, I think it was environmental control. And obviously Dr. Sott is rather busy with being held hostage in sickbay, so again his token being here is, for the most part, merely a reminder and for ease of access. It's at this juncture where things are going on that both Gurkow and Bonnet rejoin the bridge crew, especially since both of them had individually gone off at the head of their own security teams to deal with Orions on the outside of the main computer core, the primary computer core, and if it was Bonnet, it was Transporter Room 1, I believe. So both Bonnet and Gurkow have returned successfully from their individual missions. Captain Sobek is still trying to keep everybody working together for the moment. Flask is doing his best to jump between various different places to keep things stable, and that's around about the time that, with a nice healthy whir of juice, the ship systems, if I can just bring them back up. Power starts getting fed into the bridge. So the various consoles start coming back online, as you can see from the steam and the sparks and the debris everywhere. Everything is still in pretty banged up shape, but at the very least now you've got power. And so, that's when the communication from engineering comes back, that where Tavish says we've restored power from the warp core, which is to the great relief of everybody. But at that point, we get a sensor alert on Gurkow's station.
Sensors on.
As we have a look at... There is a sudden rumble throughout the ship, so everybody can feel free to give me the Star Trek shake. A slight rumble. Nothing too catastrophic, but a judder nonetheless felt throughout the ship. And Gurkow's sensor alert shows that the ship has been grabbed by some kind of tractor beam. As I take us to have a quick look at what's going on. Apparently from the aperture itself, some strange energy cone has erupted out and is pulling infinite darkness. Thank you very much for telling me. I thought I'd fix that, evidently not. Yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Well, yes, if you can do a David Draymond, I'd be very impressed. Points for those who know who I'm talking about. Can folks see this now?
Yeah.
Yep.
An anomaly, a debris ring, the combs, the Klingon ship, and some weird kind of cone effect that appears to be pulling the combs towards the anomaly. Let's take us back to the bridge. Change the ambience somewhat. So, can I get a reason and science check from Gurkow, please?
Alright here. Any foci?
Let's go with the god foci can go for now. Statistical probability. Double eights, very fortuitous. Yes, 2 successes, so you get 2 into the momentum pool for that. Okay. You're being pulled towards the singularity by some kind of shaped beam comprised of gravitons, tetrions, and other trace subatomic particles. Under any law of physics that Gurkhau's aware of, such a thing should not be possible. And yet, there it is. What fascinates Gurkhau the most about this beam is that rather than the beam itself, it's the fact that it's obviously artificially constructed by someone or something. Such a thing should and could not, by all accounts, be a natural occurrence.
Is it possible to probe into the anomaly to find the source of this, or it's so obscure we're unable to?
At the moment, sensors aren't registering anything within the singularity or on the other side of it, wherever it leads to.
I suggest we actually send in a probe, a battery-powered probe, and but focus on the situation on the ship at hand as well. Well,
okay.
I'm telling the captain and everyone, I don't know if we want to stop being pulled in as well.
Well, the captain seems to be seriously considering this. We are, after all, being pulled towards a singularity. The gravitational disturbances alone, and as he says that, the whole ship judders and shakes, as another gravity wave hits. So if everyone feel free to give me the Star Trek shake once again. And in this case, I am going to inflict a structural breach on a random deck. Which deck will it be? Let us see. Ooh, deck 13, the warp engine core. Oh dear. Oh dearie me.
This is engineering, isn't it?
It's engineering. It's deck 13, yes. So, main engineering itself is on deck 11, but down 2 decks is the main core. As the core actually extends a number of decks. So everyone on deck 11 in main engineering, though, does feel it. As we suffer a breach. A structural breach. On deck 13. I've got to add that in as well. So, the good news is that we're not talking a core breach in the traditional sense of, oh my god, the ship is going to explode. But if you've just repaired a crack in the intermix chamber, well, now something further down has happened. So, the ship has lost reserve power again. So your power is going to start to slowly leach as something has been either damaged or has been shaken loose by the sudden gravitational shock. Can I get a control and... Can I get a control and con check from Bonnet, please?
Any focuses?
Let me see. Propulsion focus, please. Angry Tavish noises over the comm. I like it. Just indistinct curses going on. To which you also
Can I ask
hear
what this
Ensign Kenson go, Chief, you need to disengage the comms.
Hmm.
What was that? Sorry, Liz?
Can I ask what this roll's for?
No.
Damn.
I'll make it a surprise. Why for? What were you thinking? You wanted to
Seeing
know
if
if
I
any of
could-
your talents are attributed to it.
Yeah, if by doing something of value wise to make it harder, so I can get a determination back.
Not in this case. This is you noticing something.
Ah.
So
Oh, okay.
this will be less of a case of. Nevertheless, that was 3 successes. That's pretty dang good. So that's full momentum pool, thanks to you. With Helm Station now operational again, you're noticing a small amount of forward momentum, which makes sense if the ship is being caught up in a tractor beam. But what you also notice, if I can quickly divert us this way, is that the Klingon ship also has a tractor beam attached to it, and therefore both the Klingon ship and the combs are being slowly drawn towards the singularity. So,
well-
yes, sorry, go on.
Look, it looks like we're not the only ones getting pulled. The Orion ship that was there is getting pulled into.
So,
Yeah, she's like there were Orions that boarded our ship. It's no longer a Klingon ship in her eyes.
right. Okay. So, as the ships are being drawn in closer, you get another bump as the ship gets rocked by another gravitational impact. So this is going to cause another piece of damage as transporters get knocked offline. And let me read this to you. As the ship is pulled closer to the singularity, you see the damaged Klingon vessel tumble towards the same point in space. Whatever has caught you in its grip has also captured the Klingon vessel. The deck plates shimmy and shake below your feet. Anybody not sitting down is regularly forced to brace themselves against a panel or a bulkhead for support. The ship all around you makes alarming sounds as hull plates shift and sway against each other. It makes for an unexpectedly eerie sound. But then, without warning, the shaking stops, and it feels as if the ship has glided to a gentle stop. On the bridge's main view screen, you can see that both your ship and the Klingon warship have drifted closer together and toward the singularity. Sensors confirm that the two ships have moved to a perfect balance point between known space and a circular void, as if someone had just cut out a section of space and left nothing in its place. No stars, no light, no spatial body of any kind, just swirls of tetrions, gravitons, and a strange sensation of expectation? Meanwhile, sick bay. So let me change things a moment from bridge ambience to sick bay ambience as Uldar Vess, the Orion pirate captain, is still trying to insist that the captain, the currently in disguise emergency medical hologram, surrender his vessel. Smarmily, he is dictating that the crew need to start evacuating to either shuttles or escape pods or any and all of the above, so that he and his crew can now claim ownership of the combs as their own. Now, it's around about this point that the power comes back up and the lights come on in sickbay, which grabs everybody's attention. And it's at this point that the emergency medical hologram seizes the opportunity and says, "Computer, initiate EMH program Delta." A hissing sound starts to occur as it seems that gas is being pumped into the room. The Orions all start to cough and waver, except for the captain, who is at this moment not in the main room where the gas is being leached into. Everyone else, who are not Orions, at the moment seem to be unaffected, although everyone seems to feel a little bit lightheaded. One of the Orion privateers kind of drunkenly lets off his disruptor rifle at the EMH, trying to shoot Captain Sobek, but of course, being a hologram, it goes right through him. At which point, Uldar Vess gets up and goes, "What the hell is going on here?" Reaches for his weapon, finds a hyperspray instead. So, would Dr. Sott like to take the initiative and try something?
Yes. Sorry, Dr. Sott was just trying to, unmute himself. Have I got my own hyper spray?
Yes.
I guess now's the time to try and, do a cheeky knockout with 20 cc's of sleep juice or something.
Was it anaprovaline, I remember, was one of them.
I went to school with a girl called Anna Provaline. But yeah, I'll use that.
Oh dear, I walked into that one. I really did. What was it? There was a list of drugs. Anapravaline's not in there. Interesting. What would we use? Bortolin, it doesn't matter. Alright, so the good doc is going to try and render somebody unconscious, yes?
Yeah.
Go for it.
My man beer, I suppose.
Okay.
What am I rolling?
So this is going to be your control and medicine check, but I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3 threat. So I would like you to do your control and medicine check first, please. Difficulty 2.
Cool. Not really using focus, am I? Okay.
We've got momentum if you want to steal some.
Yeah, there's plenty of momentum.
Okay, I'll take 1. And what does that mean I can do then, sorry?
Add 1 dice.
Add 1 dice. Okay, 1 momentum, 3 dice. Let's go.
Waboom. Yep, those are decent. 2 successes, so yep, groovy. 1 goes back, 1 gets to be filtered in. Very, very nice. So, I spend threat, so Uldar Vess here, being very typical of his breed, grabs the nearest Orion to him, so that when Dr. Sott jumps in and hypersprays him, he gets this guy instead. Vess pulls out a knife, threatens Dr. Sott with it, as this guy is cast to one side, and Vess quickly jumps into the vents. He opens the vent using the same weird device that other folks have seen the Orions use, which is essentially this long, kind of forked prong, or stick of some sort, with some buttons down at the haft. He jams that into the jams that into the emergency hatch by here and jumps in. And just as Dr. Sott is about to perhaps pursue, Vess jams that very same pronged stick into the controls on the other side, which closes the door. And with Sott furiously tapping at the button to try and get it to open, it looks like Vess has managed to disable it. But nevertheless, when Dr. Sott turns around, you find all the Orions on the floor, unconscious. The EMH comes up to Dr. Sod. Whilst I was otherwise preoccupied with sneaking around through the Jeffries tubes, I reprogrammed the environmental systems in here to have a special contingency action to release a specialized form of anesthetic gas tailored only to Orions. Pretty ingenious, if I do say so myself. But how did you know he was going... How did you not know he was going to fire a weapon at you?
Put me on the spot.
Well, essentially, there wasn't a weapon there anymore. I have to say, though, Dr. Sot, it was very, was it brave or foolhardy that you threw yourself at that man? After all, you're a doctor, not a security expert.
Column A, column B.
Oh, I see. Well then, I imagine you'll be putting in a report to the captain, glorifying my rather spectacular save of you all. Or...
You might get something in the footnote.
Well, I suppose this is the kind of treatment I've come to expect. Why don't I see whether or not these Orions can be held on a stasis field? Because apparently I'm the only one who's doing more than their fair share here today. So, the crew's daring plan for a distraction, maybe with a little help from some weird blipping of disruptor pistols into hypersprays. You seem to have resolved the situation, so what do you actually want to do with the downed Orions?
I guess, like,
go on.
I guess, like, you know, this has, like, its own sort of, like, force field around it, right? This particular part.
Oh, yes, that's right.
So let's chuck them all in there.
Stack them like cordwood. Right, gotcha.
Pile them up.
Maybe pose them so they're holding hands or something, I don't know. Right, which means your medical teams can get back to doing what they were doing before, because around about this time is when you feel that big shudder in the ship where we had Deck 13 damaged. So chances are good that now that the hostage situation is dealt with, you can open sickbay back up to admitting crew members. But you're still left with the fact that the Orion captain, Uldar Vess, has escaped into the Jeffries tubes. For now, however, let's go back to Deck 1. So, the ship shuffers another... The ship shuffers... I went all Sean Connery there for a second. The ship suffers another shunt as the singularity seems to keep sending out graviton waves in frequency and increasing impact. And it's not only rocking both the Klingon ship and the combs. You're getting indications that it's having knock-on effects elsewhere. So, can I have Gurkow, as the chief sensor operator, give me a reason and science check, but now we can finally have the combs assist. So, can I have... let's see... Dave. Can I get you to be the combs, please?
You can.
If it's too much trouble for you, you know, we can find somebody else.
There's a lot of responsibility rolling for a whole ship.
It really, well,
Yeah.
yes, quite, really is, really is.
What am I doing?
So, if you could roll 1 dice, and we're looking at sensors and science, and remember to treat this as if the ship has a focus. Because in many ways it does. Or did you get rid of all the sensor-related shenanigans? What was that, Connie?
Is it just? It's just one.
Just one, yeah. Connie, you were saying something.
God focus, God focus.
Yes. Because it makes sense. Okay, the ship's still suffering a bit. 2 successes from Gurkau, though, and that was enough. With a little bit extra. Okay, so... what do we learn? The graviton pulses are now coming strong enough that it's having an effect on Hefner 7, the outermost planet of the system. The pulses have impacted the orbital inclination of 2 of the planet's moons, which has essentially altered their orbits. Because you got 1 extra success above and beyond, and you've got no way to spend it, the moons have shifted in their orbits sufficiently that they will destabilize and eventually crash into the planet, causing an extinction level event with the first impact, and likely a planet-destroying event with the second moon's impact. To make matters worse, the data suggests that the graviton pulses are increasing in intensity and frequency, and both the Combs and the Klingon ship are stuck directly at ground zero. So I'm going to start putting in some creaking metal here. And ship stress. So, you're in a bit of a dire situation. What would you like to do?
Run away.
Interesting prospect. All right then.
Is there anybody left on the? Do we know if anybody's left on the Klingon ship?
You do not know.
We can though, can't we?
What was that? Sorry, Connie, I didn't quite catch that.
Or we can do a quick scan of the ship to look for life signs.
You could. If you want to try that, then by all means, go right ahead.
Another reason in science.
Since you're looking for life signs, it's going to be control and medicine.
Ugh.
So you might want to call
But
in
I've
help
done
for this one.
What if I've done the reading?
If you've done the
What?
reading, then that's even better, you know. You can use science then. But it will cost
I'm
you
gonna
a
take a point
momentum.
of... Yeah.
And if it's like science and medicine or something, you know, because the hostage situation is solved now, right, in sick bay.
Dr. Sock can absolutely jump in on this, yeah, no problem. So 1 dice from Dr. Sot. This will be control and medicine.
Cool.
Oh, blimey.
A whack.
Okay. So, overall, let me see. Sensors are still having trouble, what with the sheer amount of interference, pardon me, being thrown out by the anomaly. There's also the gravitons and tetrions and other wonky particles that are coming out from those tractor beams, which are apparently holding the ships in place, if they're still even operating. So getting any definite numerical reading is difficult, but there do appear to be life sign readings on the Klingon battlecruiser.
Does that hinder your plans, Tavish?
Tavish, does that hinder your plans any?
It does, yes.
Mhm.
I was gonna suggest doing some more repairs on the combs. So we've got enough warp power to get out of here. And explode the warp engine on the Klingon ship to push it out.
Interesting.
But if there's people on there, I don't feel like Tavish would want to do that.
How many
Murderous
Klingons are on
pirates.
the?
What was that, Chris?
How many people are on the other ship?
That's, unfortunately, it's indeterminate. There are definitely life signs, but because of the interference, you can't get a track on how many and where.
I was
The
just gonna
start
check.
is like we can have, we can accept so and so losses. Is that
That's,
it?
no, no. It was more a case of can we beam them all over and then do
Well,
the same thing.
unfortunately, transporters were disabled after the last gravitic wave hit.
Ah,
They will have
So
to
what I'm
be-
here,
Go on.
what I'm hearing is Bonnie go over in a shuttle with a security detail and go rescue them, while everyone else works on repairing the ship.
You could, but with the readings that Gurkow has just gotten from the singularity, the gravitational forces going on out there would probably crush a shuttle like a can.
And we see
So-
if we can hail the Klingon ship, actually. See if anybody will get in contact with us.
You can try.
Like, constantly do it on all frequencies.
So far, no answer.
How
Alright.
about
Go on.
Alright, how about we stop fixing the ship?
Connie,
we
what were you
can
going to
get out.
suggest?
I was going to say we're going. What if we employ a tractor beam and, like a hammer throw, we swirl ourselves around with the Klingon ship, but both of us fly away.
Interesting.
Oh, I like that.
We might
Interesting.
tear ourselves apart, but I don't know.
Daring.
Alright.
I like it.
How about we repair the ship? Repair the
Yes,
repair
repair the
the
structure.
structure
Yes.
a bit before we do that.
Yeah.
I
There's-
am all for doing that. I am all for doing that. It sounds like a fantastic idea.
All right.
And let's get
Repair
repairs going.
Team leader. 2 momentum.
Easy.
So if we're going to do some repairs, let's pick a system, and I can repair breaches. And there was a breach to the warp core, wasn't there?
Right, so the intermixed chamber breach has been patched. So we'll get rid of that one. You still have warp engine core injector access damaged on deck 7. You've got impulse and thrusters are still offline. Helm and navigational systems are still damaged. There's a damage to the ore itself on deck 13. Transporters are also disabled. And shield grid 1 through 9 are all burnt out. So what would you like to get started on first?
Warp core, surely.
Alrighty.
Anything to do with what? Anything with the word warp in it. Okay.
Let's get down to engineering, shall we? But I will, as I suspect, I will put Flesk down in here for ease of reference. Because he's using his repair team leader talent. And let's change it from sickbay ambience to engineering. So we get that gentle thrum. So then, let's have a look at what we need to do. So if you spend 2 momentum, you can gain You can spend 2 momentum to repair an additional breach if you succeed at a damage control major action. Damage
We're not
control.
Are we doing damage control or just repairs?
Well, it's essentially the same kind of thing, but let's have a lookity-look. Just to ensure. Damage control. So, presence and engineering. With a difficulty of 2. Increase per additional degree of potency. So probably looking at difficulty 3 for this particular piece of damage that needs to be repaired. Anybody and everybody who has got anything to do with warp cores and that kind of thing can more than likely contribute. Which reminds me.
I will probably steal a momentum so I can add it to the pile of Medal of Honor.
Is this
Oh,
an
no,
extended task?
Starcross instead.
It's not an extended task for the moment, no.
Okay.
I am going to say.
And I'm pretty sure I'd want to get Tavish to assist. But I'll also take a momentum.
Now, do you want one other person assisting just so you can get the whole parent figure thing going?
I actually have 2 things firing. If we're doing engineering task, I've got the maintenance specialist. We'll ignore the first one, and I can't remember the other one. But yeah, I don't actually need the third one. I'd rather save the momentum for the next person using it. I only want to take 1 momentum.
Ready?
I'm also. This is going to be involved as well.
Reduce the opportunity cost of engineering teams by 1. So
No, it's not that. It's the second part.
when you push it beyond its limits, you get to spend 1 to reroll a d20. Okay. That will come later, I don't doubt. With the whole spinny round idea. Interesting. So yes, let's stabilize the core first. Whoa! All right then, Tavish. Let's not be outdone by the operations officer, shall we? Okay, well, yeah, blimey. That was a heck of a lot of successes. So, full pool once again. So, yes, the core breach that happened on Deck 13, that would hamper these such efforts, has now been repaired. Well done. And repair team leader means that you may spend an additional 2 to repair 1 additional breach.
How many do we get over? So we had 8. We have left over.
I made it
still
3, so you had
pool.
5. So yeah, you could spend 2 of those to repair another breach. So which breach would you like to repair? Since you're on the right deck, you could probably take care of the engine core injector access.
Yep, I think that's a good idea. Because we're going to be moving eventually.
Yeah. Alright, so that takes a fair old time, hammering things back into place and putting duct tape over the bits that are somewhat cracked. A bit of glue here and there.
Self-sealing stem bolts.
Yes, indeed. So, you've got a good couple of things taped off now. So, the engine core is now looking a lot more stable than it was previously, which in no uncertain terms is a very, very good thing. So, what would you like to attempt next? Situation as it stands is that your ship is currently frozen in place to whatever end.
Do we want to work on shields?
That's a question.
Structure.
Yeah.
We want to do the structure. If we're gonna do this thing, we need the structure to be at least able to withstand it, or we're gonna rip the ship apart.
And from the
Okay.
creaks and groans you can currently hear in the ship's superstructure, that's not a drastic impossibility. As of what you could probably hear right now, in fact.
Yeah, I just heard that. Great timing.
So, you've got the engine block pretty much functioning again then, for the time being, patched together quite nicely. You've still got transporters disabled, because if you want to stand any chance of going over to the Klingon ship and rescuing or detaining the life forms over there, taking a shuttle, unless you do something really drastic with a shuttle, runs the risk of being crushed by the gravitational forces, so getting transporters back online might be an idea.
How
But,
drastic are we talking about for the shuttle?
well, you'd need to find some way of in reinforcing its structural integrity quite drastically, because it's a much smaller ship and therefore would be more susceptible to being crushed by the gravitational forces. Unless there's something you have in mind. Bridge. Oh, yeah. So, engineering has reported that they've got a good lead on engine repairs, which has taken a while. But some systems are still offline, your ships are still just dead, stuck in space. This so-called perfect balance point. And yes, if transporters are currently not repaired, then the only way over to the Klingon ship would be shuttle, and shuttle ride has danger associated with it. So, what would you like to do or try? If anything.
How bad would it be if we salvage the hull plating from any damaged shuttles and put it on the more fit shuttle? And boost the shields like 5 times.
So you're gonna be patch plating additional layers onto a shuttle, which means it'll be heavier than it was designed to be. And then you're going to be putting additional power into shields, which means that it's going to need to increase its power output. All of which could very well be possible, but does carry with it risks. But then, when is anything worthwhile? When is anything worth doing not risky? So yeah, it's possible. If that's the avenue you want to go down, you are going to have to do some work to see if it'll cut the mustard, as it were. So obviously either way have their pros and their cons. So which would you like to try? And of course, what do the rest of the crew think?
I like this idea. It's bonkers.
Bonnet and Tavish are just 2 peas in a pod.
So,
I mean-
rather than
I mean,
repair
the character-
transporters, let's do the ridiculous thing and overcharge a shuttle.
Yep. My character would be horrified by it, but this is cool.
Right. Okay. Now, shuttles not necessarily damaged, which means that shuttle cannibalization is more than likely going to happen. So some of the Combs' shuttles are going to need to be stripped of their plating and other components in order to create this even more densely plated Shutty the Shuttle.
Can I, whilst they're doing that, almost as a race, resolve this bit after they're done? Just try to fix the transporters?
Ha ha ha.
Just like, this is too silly, guys. I'll fix it. I'll fix it.
You are certainly welcome to give it a go. The captain is not against two parties trying to see who gets what done first. So what I will do then in this case is where I use Liz's prompting from earlier and decide to do this as an extended task.
So, and this is where Bonnet would ask, is like, hey, can I borrow a couple engineers, preferably your more daring and very open-minded engineers.
Open-minded? How committed are you to your current training as far as shuttles go? Are you allowing a bit of leeway here, is the question you're asking them. How married are you to propulsion theory as we know it? I want you to take everything you know about shuttles and throw it in the bin, because we are doing something new and ridiculous here. Did I say ridiculous? I meant exciting. Right, so one extended task is modify a shuttle, one extended task is repair transporters. Let's see. You are trying to patch plate and engine boost a shuttle. I should really make them both the same kind of work level, so I'm going to go with a work track of that much for both of them. Getting transporters back online after the damage and trying to modify a shuttle should also both be roughly the same kind. Resistance. Resistance. Well, Flesk is trying to do it pretty much by his lonesome. And of course, Bonnet and Tavish will be trying something heretofore undone before. So, let's go with... Right, I have got my extended tasks, I have got my numbers. Let's see who finishes their job first. So, I'm going to start with the first one that I wrote, which is the modifier shuttle. Who is working on this job? Bonnet and Tavish? Or are you bringing somebody else in at the cost of extra momentum? Going once.
What? I want to know why it's Tavish doing this.
Chief engineer.
I don't remember. I don't remember agreeing to this.
Oh, okay. Is Bonnet just grabbing a couple of engineers in the flight bay who were otherwise unoccupied and is just saying, "Hey guys, I need help."
I mean, I'll do it if I'm ordered to.
Hey Tavish, come help me instead. It's a race.
Yeah, Bonnet would probably be like, "Can I borrow Ensign Kenson, please? Maybe Durrani."
No.
Why not? It's a task from the commander, from the captain.
If
We're
he's
saying that in
ordering me to
quotes.
I'll do it.
It's from the captain.
Okay.
It's
You could. I mean, yeah. Let's take an extra momentum then. And let's bring in. I think it's Kenson who's good for this. I can't
There's
remember.
Girani. There's Girani. Ensign and Girani back with the engineering group.
Yeah. Let's take Kenson.
Right, so Kenson is coming with Tavish to where? Transporters or shuttle?
The the shuttle bay.
Right. Down here then.
Just because, yeah. Just because I think if we let Bonnet do it herself, then she's just gonna blow herself up.
Well, alrighty. You heard it first from the chief engineer.
I mean, hurtful, but Tavis is probably not wrong.
This truth hurts me. Damn you. Alright then, so, yeah, this is gonna be daring in engineering, no question. This is something untried before.
If I'm the one,
Well, that does beg the question of who's leading this.
if
endeavour.
I'm the one leading,
But this then
First of
becomes
all,
Tavish's idea, and she endorses it.
no, I've been told to do this.
Strictly speaking, you've been asked to do it.
Do that, yeah.
With a minor white lie from Bonnet.
Yes.
It's fine.
Doctor's log,
once-
something. This was all Tavish's idea.
The Chief Helm Officer's log, she made me do it.
No, it's not that one. No, yeah, it's not
not
that
for
one.
power, no. We're not doing that one.
It's not that one. It was this one.
Good worker. You may increase your impact by 1 by spending 1 momentum instead of 2. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, leave me some momentum.
We're taking 2 momentum. Okay.
So you're taking 1 momentum
I'm-
to have 1 extra person help you with this. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just sucks that this is not a reason or control. So I can't
Oh,
ignore
no.
resistance.
There's nothing reasonable about this. You are trying to weld extra plating onto a shuttle, you're trying to boost its engines past its acceptable limit, and you're also trying to shunt all that additional power also through its shield emitters to try and off-put the gravitational stresses that it's going to be under. So yeah, there's nothing sensible about any of this.
I am also using the Starfleet Medal of Honor, so any yeah. On a successful task. So we can
2
use
bonus
this
momentum,
again.
okay.
Yeah, 2 bonus momentum. I am also using a determination.
Oh, flip. Mad engineer. Yes, as cautious as she's been from her recent her recent revisitations of past actions, all of a sudden a mad glint goes into Tavish's eye as she realizes she gets to do something untried before.
Is this episode 29, isn't it?
Episode 29, yes indeed.
I hate the fact that it was still on damage, but I really almost want to use if it ain't broke, improve it anyways to make it slightly harder so I can get
If
a
you want to make
determination.
it slightly harder, I can make it slightly harder.
Please
Is this
don't.
Hey, Tavish, you wanted to do this.
You knew what you
I
were
said I
getting in
really-
with.
Oh yeah, no, it's probably gonna be hard enough.
I mean,
I
if
just
you want
like-
to, Liz, if you want to do it, do it. Honestly.
I mean, it would make sense.
I do like the idea of Tavish trying to tell someone to be reasonable. Don't go too crazy.
Well, this is essentially Bonnet going, well, you know, whilst we're doing this, we could try something a little... We could try improving it a little. So, yes, you could try and you could make things harder in order to get a point of determination back.
Improving a shuttle.
Improving Shutty, that suggests that Shutty the Shuttle had something to improve.
Yeah, we're just
improving
improving shutty.
It's heresy as far as the machine god is concerned.
Franken shutty.
Frankenshutty. You renaming the shuttle.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
We'll call him Frankie from now on. Okay.
It's now. I've put improving in my logs. I've put improving shutty, Franken shutty.
Got you. Okay then.
Just stuck an Xbox and some flavoured water fountains in there.
Yeah. Did I? Let's look at my personal logs. Da.
Yes, definitely put this in Bonnet's personal logs too. Alright, so I am upping the difficulty. No, that's the wrong
So
one.
how many dice have we got?
Let me see. 2 from Tavish, 1 from Kenson, 1 from Bonnet. So far that's 4.
Oh, I'll take a dice.
Alrighty.
I mean.
Oh no! I've used a determination, so we get.
The determination replaces one of your dice.
Yeah, so I'll use a momentum and.
I can't remember what episode it was, but it was starting 540 or 50047.3, and I used the ship was not broken, but I improved it anyways. So now she's improving a shuttle because it's much more difficult to improve a shuttle than it is a starship.
Isn't that the other way around?
What was the start date again, sorry?
And engineering.
Let me just. I will post it in Discord.
Thank you. 50047.3. 50047.3 was episode 18, the rescue mission. The search for Sobek.
Yep, that makes sense.
Just check that to make sure I'm not saying that. No, it is. That's search for Sobek. So there we go. You have successfully completed your character arc requirement. Okay, let me note that down in case I forget.
So a lot of improving of shuttles and crazy flying.
Yes, actually, that's a good point. It was to do with improving a shuttle. So yeah, good. Yes, Dave.
Daring and engineering.
Definitely.
I'm using experimental technology as a focus.
Okay. Can I get Connie to be Kenson then, please?
Mm-hmm.
1 dice, daring and engineering. She will use maintenance as a focus, I suppose. She's trying to at least make sure that all of these mad modifications to the shuttle can at least fit. There's Kenson, 1 success, very good. If we can have 1 from Bonnet then, please.
Would electroplasma power systems work? I'm trying to overpower the shields.
Propulsion would probably be better for you guys. But no, you make a good point, actually. Electroplasma power systems, you're trying to increase the output of the thing. Yeah, go for that. Talk to myself into and out of.
Damn. I rolled an 18.
Alright then.
You know what?
It's all on Tavish.
Oh no, when I'm assisting another character.
Yeah, and you're leading. So Bonnet tries to make some modifications to the shuttle's power plant, so that more juice can be thrown through it.
Okay, here we go.
Remember to roll. What is it? You're rolling.
Rolling
2 dice and tagging the determination. Roll 2 dice. Check determination and focus.
Right, 2 dice and yeah.
There we are. All 5 dice. 1, 2, 6 successes in total, which means you gain 2 over and above what was necessary. Tavish was lead, therefore we use Tavish's engineering to give us 5 on the work track. And you were using we get 2 additional momentum, which means you can spend those 2 additional momentum on gaining 1 additional bit of work on the work track.
Yep.
And because you're using Miracle Worker, you may increase impact by 1, so you can actually increase it by 2 by using Miracle Worker.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Alright then. So that is over 50% of the work done in one go, which means that you do achieve a breakthrough. You can lower the resistance, which doesn't seem to matter because Bonnet is able to...
I can't get rid of the resistance because of it's not control or it has to be control or reason.
Right, which means it's probably the same with Tavish in it. So I will knock the resistance 1, 2, 3 off of that, so you're not halfway through. Unless somebody has got something to ignore resistance on an extended task. Can't remember who might.
Oh, hold on. Oh no, it's we're beefing up a shuttle, not using computers. So
Yes, reason or control, that was it. Intense scrutiny. Sadly, yes, this is just balls to the wall engineering here. There's nothing pretty about this. There's very little in the way of controlled. Alright, nevertheless, you did advance down the track. You haven't got halfway, so you're going to need to do it again at the same difficulty with the same resistance. Over to Flesk. This is going to be less daring and more control. And
Cool. It
engineering.
makes no difference as I have the same attitude score for both.
Aha.
Right, so is this just me doing this?
Unless you want to bring on Ensign Girani to assist.
So I'm rolling 2 dice. How much does it cost me to buy 3 more dice in momentum?
3 more dice. You want to roll all the dice, all 5 dice.
Well, they got 5. I want 5.
Well, if you want 5, you can do it one of 2 ways, of course. Ensign Girani can assist you for no cost whatsoever, so she can roll a dice. You could then
Buy 3 dice just for me.
3. That would cost 6 momentum. 1 for the first one, 2 for the second one. Actually, pardon me, let me think. Cost you 1 for the first one, which means you're rolling 3 dice. Cost you an extra 2 momentum for the second one, so 3 in total. So you would be rolling 5 dice? 4 dice, and then Girani gets the 5th dice.
Let's do that.
So it would cost 3 momentum in total for you to buy 2 extra dice.
Cool. Boop. Boop. Boop.
And Chris will have you as Ensign Girani using control and engineering and the maintenance focus to assist.
So I am repairing the transporter,
Okay.
so if this is successful I could do something with it maybe. Oh no, that's at the end of the extended task. Let's delete that. I will use a Starfleet Medal of Honor to bank some bonus momentum.
Nope.
Let's put a slash in there. In the nick of time is if it succeeds, and I will use another star cross. So it's dedicated focus.
Okie dokie. Girani has already rolled and therefore gotten no successes, so it's all on the Flesk.
Right. 4 dice. Dedicated focus. Here we go.
Spadoosh! Oh. Oh. So you got 2 bonus momentum on a successful task. So we're using, pardon me, Flesk's engineering score, which is 5 to advance 5 down. You've got 2 bonus momentum that can be spent.
Yep.
Part of an extended task, you can increase your impact by 1, so that goes automatically to halfway. You've got 2 bonus momentum, which can be spent on 1 additional trip
And I'd
down
like
the
to do
track.
that. Yep.
And you still gain 3 momentum back. Now, there is resistance. You have any way of ignoring resistance on an extended task?
Nope.
And does Jirani, maintenance specialist, she ignores complications, so that's a no. Okay, so now we take away the resistance, which is that and that, which means, ooh, neck and neck. Both teams have scored exactly the same amount of work. This is interesting. Alright then. Back to team number 1, which is the shuttle modification. So then, play it again, Sam. Although we don't have a Sam here, but you know what I mean. So, the same crew modifying the shuttle, are you doing the same thing as you did last time, or are you, you're not keeping Ensign? Or do you want to protest as a different method of doing it so you get to use control rather than daring?
Yeah. Is that alright?
Justify it to me then.
The first part is, it's experimental. It's, it's experimental. Though she's wanting to put make sure it's safe and it's secure, and that anybody in this shuttle who goes in it isn't just going to instantly blow up.
So the first part was, can we do it? The second part is, now we've put it in there, let's try and make it safe.
Yes.
Okay. I can go with that. I can go with that. But that does mean that you are now using control and engineering. And the difficulty spike that it was put up to by Liz choosing to regain a determination for Bonnet means that that difficulty still exists.
And how many do we need?
Difficulty 4.
Oh my god. Alright. I'm not going to try and get my determination back then.
Can I use a... Should we use a momentum to get another dice, though?
Yeah. So, if Kenson is still part of this, you've already paid for it once, so that's fine. You can still use Kenson in this, but you've got 6 momentum, so you can buy dice as well.
Do you want to use Miracle Worker again?
Yeah, that might help.
Okay.
Alright, who's leading? Who's assisting? Is Tavish still leading this, or is Bonnet taking it?
Oh, I forgot about that. I used the determination, so we got 1 momentum. Pool.
Oh yeah, because of the fate of the heart.
Oh right.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's fine. You've got a full pool now anyway, so it's all good. So now we're changing it to control and engineering. The difficulty remains the same. The foci that you're using can essentially work the same as well as they were last time.
What are you wanting to do then? Do we want to spend 3 momentum here, and we can have Tavish with 3 dice and Bonnet with 2 dice?
Good question.
But then I have no dice.
You'll be fine.
We've got a full momentum pool. It's only 3
Yeah.
momentum.
Thanks to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Paper, rock, scissors. See who gets the most. It's fine. Sorry, what am I saying? Paper, rock, scissors, lizard, Spock.
Yes,
Do we
always.
Is that fine with the rest of the crew? Except for Mark.
Huge protest.
Do it.
Well,
Okay, alright. I got the seal of approval from Connie. Chris?
Go on.
Oh, okay, alright.
even
there you
though
go,
Chris is
alright.
on the opposing team, he can't bear to see family fight, so why not?
Okay, alright. We'll use 3 momentum. And we will not be using Ensign Carly Kenson this time. It's
Righty-ho.
just Bonnet and Tavish.
Bonnet gets 2, Tavish gets 3, so far so good.
Do experimental technology?
Sure.
Awesome, alright.
Ooh, hello. Hey. Right, you just about manage it, so well done. Although some things slipped and fell down, at which point you answered with, it was meant to do that.
God damn you, Nyla, for not working. I could have re-rolled that at 20.
Yes, I'm awful, aren't I? But nevertheless, you got exactly what you needed to succeed at that, since you used Legion of Honor to ignore the effects. Now, do either Tavish or Bonnet have anything that can ignore resistance on an extended task?
Seeing as we use control.
Ignore any resistance. Oh, okay then. We use
Yeah,
Tavish's
since we use
5. And was it
Damn.
anything else used? Now, you got exactly what was needed for it. Therefore, you didn't gain any bonus momentum to go back into the momentum pool. You did get 5 though, which means you got over half, well over half the work done. You're closing in on the end. Do you guys have anything to add any extra?
Unless we want to
Engineer.
take... No, Chief Engineer doesn't.
Well, you can't take any from the momentum pool because the other half is has been blocked off for Mark's use. So
yeah, and I can't use Miracle Worker here then.
Miracle Worker. So you may increase by spending momentum. Yes. So your ability to spend was going to be contingent on you earning more than you needed, but you earned exactly what you needed, especially because of that complication. Now, luckily, because you nullified the complication, nothing nasty happens. But now that you've gone over halfway and 3/4 actually, so you've done 2 breakthroughs in quick succession, you can use either of those breakthroughs to lower the difficulty by a point or lower the resistance by a point. Now, seeing as Bonnet ignores will allow you to ignore the resistance, you may as well put the difficulty down by 2.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
Now we move on to Flesk. So the other team haven't finished.
Yep, but I don't have a lot of things to do, so has to be a star-cross. Buying all the dice I can, so that's all 3. So rolling 4
Shirani
again.
is helping, I take it?
Yep, I need all the points, all the dice I can.
So Chris, if you can be Shirani again. Same as before.
Using Legion of Honor to hopefully get 2 bonus momentum. And maintenance specialist on standby and in the nick of time when it succeeds. Cool.
Ooh, and Girani gets a very good roll.
Nice. And that's my 2 extra dice. Dedicated focus. Pew.
Spadoom!
Oh.
Ooh.
There we go.
So the difficulty was that you got 6 in total, which means 1, 2, 3 go back into the momentum pool. It's not looking good for Team Frankenshuttle.
I got the 2 bonus momentum to bump up the work done. I also get 1 extra impact through in the nick of time.
Which means Flask finishes repairing the transporters.
Boom.
So Team Frankenshuttle didn't manage to complete their modifications to the shuttle before Flask and Girani finished repairing the transporters. But that still doesn't mean that you don't stop doing your modifications to...
Because of that, repair team leader, the damage control, what we got that needs fixing? Obviously not the shuttle, that can stay there.
Well, what you
Spend
just
2
did
of
there
them.
was... so let's see. Engines have taken a breach, structure has taken a breach, weapons have taken a breach.
Spend 2 momentum to fix the structure.
Structure. Okay.
Cool. At least then that's fixed. Does that stop the creaking sound effect on the...
I will lessen the creaking.
Yeah.
But you're still subjected to gravitational weirdness. Therefore, as a result, there still will be some. But it won't be as much, certainly. Some of this is not working now, but that's fine. Let's turn you off. Give me a second while I try and rebalance the memory load of this ambient stuff. We can't hear any of that, so let's turn that off. Okay. Alright then, so you've managed to repair more structures. The structure is the combs now is looking pretty structurally solid for the moment. A lot of good repairs have gone on there. So let's finish what Team Frankenshuttle were doing. Unfortunately, Team Frankenshuttle does get a very gloating comm report from Flask down in the shuttle bay. To the tune of, guess who finished before you did?
Don't worry, you don't need to do that. The transporters are working now.
But Wems,
Go on.
Wems, if there's interference with the transporter, shuttle will still need to be used.
I mean, the gravity pull is going to be pretty interfering with the drive.
That says the person. This is coming from the person who's just had to fix the transporters and not actually modifying a actual shuttle.
You didn't have to do that. It wasn't asked for. You didn't have to do that. We need transporters. It's a core part of the ship.
So why
I'm
didn't
hoping-
you? So why didn't you come and do this shuttle, and I would have fixed the transporters?
No one should have done the shuttle. No one.
Bonnie's just gonna
I'm hoping
continue
to-
working.
Bonnie's like, I don't care. I'm finished this. I've started this. I'm going to finish it.
I'm turning off the comm.
Just cut transmission. Rips off her comm badge and throws it to the floor.
Just throws it at Kenson.
Ding! Ow!
Be glad it's not a hyper spanner.
I'm helping, says Kenson.
I know you are. You're doing really well.
Thank
I'm very
you.
proud of you. Now
She
pick
rubs
up
her
my comm
temple.
badge.
Here's your comm badge, Chief.
Thank you.
She makes sure she hands it point down, though.
I may ask the captain to promote you at some point. You're doing really well.
Henson just
Enjoying
goes
the
back to work.
aggressive, positive reinforcement.
In a really angry voice.
Henson goes off, wacko. In any case, let's have Tavish and Bonnet finish this Franken project. Third verse, same as the second.
Let's do 2 dice for Tavish, 1 dice for Bonnet, and 1 dice for Kenson.
Okie dokie. So, Connie, you can be back in the runnings as Kenson.
Alrighty.
1 from Bonnet. The captain is making note of how productive his crew are when they're competing against each other. So for Kenson, control and engineering this time with a maintenance. Focus, please, Connie. 1 dice.
Okay.
Spadoof. Hey, 1 success. 2 successes so far. Looking good, looking good. Anything else now is extra. 2 successes over and above, which means we get 2 back into the momentum pool. Tavish's score of 5 finishes the project. Congratulations, you have an ugly beast of a shuttle. Complete with
It's not
bulging hull and rivets and soldered plates.
It's beautiful in its own right.
Lieutenant Bonnet. I am never doing this ever again. Have I made myself clear?
We'll see. I've heard stories.
It's like Bonnet
We'll
has
see
got a
what?
clue into Tavish's soul.
We'll see what. Lieutenant Commander.
Ooh. You know you're in trouble when she uses your full rank.
No, that's my full rank.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Commander, she's lieutenant.
And yes,
Alright.
that's the kind of thing I was thinking of too, Mark. Yes, basically 40k orcs patched, rammed things together to see if somehow they all work.
Oh, it's all right. I've painted it a little bit red as well. Makes it go faster. Sorry.
Liar.
Isn't it?
A nice racing straight down the middle,
Yep.
Yeah.
What was the color for good luck?
flames on the side.
Yeah.
Isn't it green for like good luck, or is it black for good luck?
Shutty the shuttle.
I don't remember.
Shutty the shuttle now has on the back of it. It says Tavish V12.
Greek is bestest. Was
Green. I can't type.
Green is bestest. Yes. I remember
Oh, no,
something about 40k orcs. It was something ridiculous, like purple was the color of stealth or something like that.
Makes you invisible.
Yeah,
That's why
the
you've never
purple
s-
makes you invisible.
Oh.
That was it.
Red makes you
Oh.
go faster.
Yellow
But
was.
Bonnie put a little bit of purple on it. It's like now no one can see it too.
What was yellow? Any answers in chat would be
Explodey.
appreciated.
More explodey.
Ah! Daka. More Daka. Right, gotcha. More splode.
I'm not going in that shuttle, am I?
It does
No,
look
don't.
horrendous.
It's like, don't worry, I got it. And then Bonnie will let the commander or captain know. Hey, sir, the shuttle's ready. I'm good to go find the survivors.
Okay.
Matt,
Yes.
can I find a computer station somewhere
Sure.
close by? Can I do something? We've still got 2 Orions on this ship, haven't we?
You've got several Orions on this ship, actually, yes.
Can I hack into their comm system, please?
That would depend on whether or not they're using a comm system.
I found it. It's blue.
Ah! Thank you. Yes, you can try. Well, you can, or you could announce loudly over the internal comms, so everyone will hear it. But if you want to do some hacking, yes, you can.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now this is comms, not computers. So this would be essentially be. It'd still be control and engineering, but you'd be looking at comms, communications, rather than computers.
Okay. Is this what's the difficulty like on this?
I'm gonna go with 3.
Oof. Oof.
So how mad is Tavish? Essentially, how much does she want this?
I want this a lot, to be honest. To the point where I want to gain a determination back.
It was going that way anyway, myself, as it turns out. Which value? Obsessive.
Yes.
Yeah, we both had the same idea.
Because this will not be the first time Tavish has hacked into a Orion system. It's not even the second time she's done this. This
So
will
you're
be the third time.
But what exactly is prompting her obsessive tendency here? What slight have the Orions made?
Oh, they came into her engineering. They attacked her engineering people. She did not like that at all.
Okay.
The engineering, you know, where the war, where the engineering that's her home, away
Her
from
domain.
home.
Gotcha.
Yes. Not even the captain knows. Not even, you know, you don't tell Tavish anything down in engineering.
You don't say
You know,
no
you
to
take
Tavish down in engineering. Gotcha.
No, you take her outside the door and then tell her, and then let her go back in.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
like the bridge, sickbay, engineering, 10 forward. Long ago, the 4 departments lived in harmony, but then everything changed when the Orions attacked.
Oh, well done.
Oh.
Like,
I'd give you 2. I'll lower the difficulty to whatever Chris rolls next. For that one. Right, okay, so the shuttle is ready to go and transporters are fixed, so if things go wrong with shuttle, then transporters can be used to save the shuttle occupants. So now it becomes a question of who is going on the shuttle mission with Bonnet to try and discover the life sign readings over in the... Well, that's a good point, actually. Let me have a quick check. Alright then, so let's get this in. So, here we go. As you discuss the recent strange events and all of the preparations that you're making, the lights suddenly go dim. The deck plates under your feet and the bulkheads all around you shudder and groan. For a moment, you feel a great weight on each of your chests, as if the atmospheric pressure of the ship was cranked up well beyond its normal range. In the center of the bridge, a pinpoint of bright silver light appears and soon expands into the image of a floating alien head, the likes of which none of you have ever seen before. The alien head is a mottled blue and purple in color with lightly pockmarked skin. It is some 4 meters in circumference with 4 large eyes arranged in a square pattern with a horizontal mouth in between them edged with wispy filaments that appear to be whiskers or some form of antennae. If the being has a gender, it is indeterminate. As the sense of wonder at encountering a new life form settles in, The mouth opens, and you are momentarily deafened by the one word it utters in a long, slow breath.
Greetings.
So, creature that appears before you is there.
Pardon? What did you say?
Meetings.
No, greetings.
Ah.
I thought it was bean tings.
A bit too much distortion on the voice distorter. Gotcha. Now, the moment it says greetings is also when you are suddenly buffeted by a spike in graviton and tetraon emissions from the singularity. Which means everybody can feel free to give me the Star Trek shake. So I once again find out what random deck gets struck. Deck, oh dear.
Oh.
Deck 5, sick bay.
Now see here.
Right, so we are
So you
taking
hear stories,
a
you never think it'll happen to you.
At least we know the Orion will never get off that. The captain of the Orion captain will never escape, since our escape pod access is off limits.
Now, I could be really mean to Councillor Sachs here if I wanted to.
She deserves
Is
it.
that useful?
Yeah, she deserves it.
She needs a bit of character building.
Yeah, she does.
Deck 5, Councillor's office, gets damaged during the hull breach.
Oh, sorry, Councillor Sachs. Your collection of priceless books have now gone into space.
Or they've been squished.
Yeah.
Oh
dear.
no, all of the furniture in her office is now floating in space.
Yep. The comfy
That
sofa that
300
you all lay down on.
That 300-year-old chair you sit in. Unfortunately, that is now crushed and is only good for, making
Firewood.
fires.
Dylan?
Yeah.
I love how we would like. I just mentioned it just to be mean, and everyone's like, "Yeah, do it." No sympathy for Councillor Sachs whatsoever.
I mean,
So, let me get myself.
onward on a very probably doomed expedition.
But before we do, because that's going to be in transit, and we'll get to that in just a moment, because, yeah, it all follows one after the other. That does make a good point, though. Who is going to the Klingon ship with Bonnet?
I don't mind going over, or like one of the medical squad, in the event of, casualties and so on.
Cool. Righty-ho.
I volunteer Flesh to go over as well.
Does
he's-
Flash agree?
You
or-
can't.
This is Tavish saying this because he's so good at fixing stuff.
Are you guys okay? Do we need to get like the couples counselling office rebuilt as soon as?
No, we can't.
Wait,
It was just
is it-
destroyed.
You're a lieutenant. You're a lieutenant commander, aren't you? I could just pull rank.
That's a good point. Tavish, you can hear the sound of her quietly seething as we speak.
Do you want me? No. You know what? Pull rank. I don't care.
So, because Flesk is looking at this big creepy thing, like, no, going nowhere near this.
So does that mean Flask wants to go on the shuttle journey? Because the floating head is on the bridge right now. So if he goes on the shuttle mission, he'll be away from Big Floaty Head.
Which is more terrifying? No, I think he'd probably brave the head than the engineering marvel.
Yes, that's a good point.
You rather risk ahead than risk flying with the crazy speed demon. That is
It was
Bonnet.
made
Franken shuttle,
in.
yes.
It was made in almost the same time it took me to repair the transporters. I don't have great confidence in it.
Um, can I do the hack yet? By the way, I've
Oh,
got
yeah,
the
the hack.
determination back,
We did.
but I never did it.
That's a good point. Or was that the 2 successes?
No, it wasn't.
No, that wasn't
I've
the 2
never
successes. Yes, do your hack just to justify you getting something
This
back.
is difficulty 4, isn't it?
It was.
I haven't got a focus, have I?
Not in
No.
comms, no.
This is control engineering.
Please.
Can I spend a momentum, please?
If folks are
To
okay
get
with
one dice.
that.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you. All right.
Give it a roll.
3 dice. Come on, give me 4 successes.
3.
Oh!
Okay, so what was Tavish going to yell down the comms at the Orions?
I've got into your systems. Ha 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 ha.
Yes, okay. So Tavish isn't able to locate a frequency that stands out as what the Orions could be using to communicate, which suggests one of 2 things. Either they're using something to communicate that Tavish can't detect at the moment, or, heavens forfend, they're not communicating with each other, and that suggests either they're going by the seat of their pants, or they're going along a prescribed plan. So, either of which has possibilities.
I'm going to tell the captain. In
Okay.
any case, both of those.
Right. It's good.
At least I've got some information. That's the main thing out of it.
But the important thing is anybody else going on this mission with Bonnet to the Klingon ship? We've got Sot, we've got Bonnet herself. Anybody else going to the Klingon ship? Is
You wanna
Tavish
take Arrow?
staying, or is she sending one of her? Is Tavish sending one of her engineers? Because you did come up with the plan of maybe detonating the Klingon ship, or was that put out in place of doing the whole spinny thing with the?
No, that was taken away because of the whole spinny.
Right. So you want to keep it? Okay. Cool. All right.
We call it the spinny maneuver. It's an attack pattern.
Spinny, round. Okay, gotcha. So, same question once again. Is anyone from engineering going with the Bonnet Franken shuttle team?
I think somebody should.
Doesn't have to be Tavish. You could send either Girani or Kenson.
Let's take Zorani. Because she's got focuses in maintenance and life support systems as well.
Ah, wise choice. Gotcha. Cool. Excellent. All right then. So, Team Franken shuttle go off down to the shuttle bay in order to prepare themselves for their imminent mission. Meanwhile, the alien head on the bridge, it starts to emit a series of bass hums and treble clicks, and everyone else on the bridge is just sat there going, you're not sure if it's just making these noises or if it's some form of communication or what. It's not exactly clear. Until, eventually, just excuse me a second as my attention is drawn slightly away. Here we go. Eventually, you get.
Ah, of course. You cannot comprehend. My kind refer to ourselves as Gi, Chu, Ni. We have no need for individual names. However, if it will ease your childlike minds, you may address me as Chu.
As the creature speaks, the ship rocks once more. Ooh, Deck 9. Cargo loading, Aero-wing shuttle dock. So, Team Franken shuttle are getting thrown around a good bit down there, but the good news is that's not the main shuttle bay, that's one deck up from the main shuttle bay.
Is Tavish on the bridge?
Probably you were down in the main shuttle bay doing the patch to the Franken shuttle, so...
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure that I'm nowhere near that thing. The diplomatic stuff is not my forte.
So the ship has suffered another hit. Another bit of damage as the cargo loading deck takes some damage. So yes, the guys going towards the shuttle have to stumble about as the ship rumbles. Do 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 do.
Can I try and make it back to main engineering, please?
Of course, of course. Connie, and Flask, of course. You're both on the bridge, with Gurkow and Flask both on the bridge. Are you trying to communicate with this creature, or are you asking any questions, or are you just waiting and seeing what happens?
Trying to let it know that it talking is endangering us and damaging the ship.
Ah.
Just please find a better way. You're gonna kill us.
Shut up!
Alrighty. Was Gurkow gonna do anything particularly, Connie?
Well, I wanted to communicate with this, but of course every time it speaks, it rumbles our ship. So, go with Flask and see if it can find another way of talking to us.
Okay. Okay, no problem. That's unfortunate because, as far as what Mark just sent through, for just having a moment, because what I will ask is, can I get, thank you, Gurkow to give me reason and science, assisted by the ship. Let's see who hasn't rolled in a while. Chris, you about? Yep. So let's have Liz. If you could be the combs for me.
Okay.
From the ship, from the combs, I would like sensors and science. From Gurkow, I would like reason and science.
And focus from the ship or no?
The ship counts as having a focus, yes. Ooh, hello! Well done, the combs. And excellently well done, Gurkow. Good grief. Smash that. Right, so the difficulty was... that much, you got that much, so you got full momentum pool again. Wing bam wom. Alright, well, you've managed to make the obvious observational leap that whenever the creature communicates with you, the ship rumbles. It definitely seems that whenever there is an increase in graviton and tetron emissions from the singularity every single time that the creature that just identified itself as Chew communicates with you. So when Flask says, you know, your communications with us are damaging our ship. Let's not also forget that the 2 moons of the nearest planet, inhabited planet at that, have also been destabilized by the gravitational emissions coming from the singularity. The creature itself regards Flesk and then the rest of you with a curious air to its gaze. Captain Sobek, his curiosity almost getting the better of him, it looks like he's about to ask a question of it, but then, because of what Flesk says, he thinks better of it. And tapping his lip, trying to think of something. His immediate thought is to maybe attempt a mind meld, but then Lian Zhang reminds the captain that some alien intelligence tried communicating with Gurkau and it rendered her unconscious. So it's probably
I've got an idea.
not the best idea. Yes.
Oh, well, it's not a good idea. It's
an idea.
It's an idea. I know we may not be able to mind meld, but there is. I mean, there is part of Tavish which is offline at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if the being can connect to Tavish
You're
through her port.
You're gonna see if he's got a USB port. You're gonna plug in the alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we're gonna go through that method, I think asking Captain Sobek, the Falcon with the hardened mind, might be a bit more appropriate.
Yeah, but it's the captain.
That's
Well,
what they.
David-
That's the.
Yes, what Tavish is admitting is that she's expendable.
Yeah. Yeah, that is. Tavish is. Yeah, it's like, why let the captain go through when
I can
we
do
can
it.
get.
When I can take his place. Yeah.
I would say
issues.
that the Combs is probably an outlier to the norm, where our captain doesn't go on away missions as much as others.
Yes, indeed.
So you can take a hit.
All right. Okay. As the suggestion is given, maybe Tavish could plug in instead. Chew. Seems almost amused. And then, of course, another shipquake happens, as everyone's thrown about a little bit. That graviton pulse was actually stronger than any that have come before. So I am going to ask once more for the sensor guys, or gal, to give me reason and science, assisted by the ship. As the ship, can I get Chris this time?
Don't think he's back yet.
He's not back? Is he still not back? Did we do Liz last time? Can I get Mark to be the Combs this time then, please? I am in need of sensors and science, treated as if it was a focus. And once again, reason and science from Gurkau, please. Ooh, very good.
I'm doing bloody well today.
You are doing very well today. Sparks are coming off it and everything.
Only 1 dice, yeah?
1 dice, please.
Whee. Ah.
Excellent. 3 successes. It seems that, well, the sensors pick up an explosion on the Klingon warship. Sensors indicate that the warship's propulsion system has taken serious damage and is on track to go critical within 15 minutes. When it explodes, it'll likely take out the Combs, and might very well collapse the singularity with it too.
Time to leave.
I'm sorry, Frankenshutty, but you can't go.
Rescue mission?
I was going to say, you got 15 minutes.
Alright.
That's a transporter job.
Yeah, but all right. I also like to point out that if this being talks, yeah, we don't know what effect on the shuttle it's going to have.
Devastating.
Yeah. All that
And
spot
we-
welding might fall off.
And
I am willing to take the risk.
Nice.
is Doctor and Zorani and is it? Are we taking another part of the medical crew as well?
With the way that sickbay is probably piling up at the moment, I would say taking just one might be enough.
Well, it's up to Chris, isn't it? So if he wants to go.
It's a rescue mission, not a healing mission. You just need to grab them and go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
You don't need to take a doctor with you.
Alrighty. Okie dokie doos. So let's do the shuttle mission then. So from Bonnet, can I have? Would it be control or would it be daring? Let's go with control. She's that good a pilot. Control and con, please. This is not going to be an easy ride, and I'm gonna up the complication range by 1. So this now creates a complication on a 19 or a 20. I will allow the shuttle to assist. So, Chris, if you're back. He's not.
Yep. No,
Yes, he
I am.
is.
Sorry.
Let me put in the icon for Shutty the shuttle here. If
Got
you
it.
could be the shuttle for me, Operation Suicide Shuttle. I'm going to want structure and con from the shuttle.
And I'm using the Azura class of Excellent and Piloting
Right.
to lower the difficulty.
Okay. I will make
And
that then a 2. And it's all on Bonnet. And remember, 19s or 20s create complications. Oh, she's messed around with the con controls on the shuttle as well. Okay.
Can I take a
No
momentum
one
to get
ever
an
uses
exercise?
Frankenshutty ever again, except Bonnet.
There was not a risk anyone wanted to.
Touche.
Can I take a momentum for exercise?
I think at this point it's
go for it.
recommended. Look at that! Look at that! She's all talent, this girl. So the ride out in the shuttle is immediately chock full of turbulence, essentially. So for Sot and Jirani, when the shuttle immediately leaves the shuttle bay, it's yanked sideways by the gravitational forces, which means that then Bonnet is fighting to keep control as the engines go into this really loud shrieking whine as it's fighting to try and battle against the gravitational forces, trying to pull it away. And Sot and Jirani share a worried glance between them as they can hear this horrendous creaking sound in the shuttle superstructure. But somehow, some way, Bonnet pilots the shuttle in such a way that it rides or drifts between the gravitational currents. And so, against all sense, logic, and reason, somehow Shutty the Franken shuttle does not come apart and manages to successfully land on the Klingon ship. And so, Team Franken shuttle find their way onto the Klingon ship. The best place they know to go for will be more than likely the engineering section, since that's where it's suffered the breach. So if anybody's on there, they're going to be in that general direction. So Bonnet, Sot, and Girani all make their way, as best as they can remember the layout of a Klingon D7, towards the engineering section. And that's when, as they round a corner and go through a main set of doors onto the engineering area of the ship, is when they meet with a large crowd. One steps forwards. Who are you?
Rescue party?
Rescue party. Where did you come from?
Starship called Combs.
Starfleet.
Yes.
How did you find yourselves here?
R&R. I got rudely interrupted by Orions. At first we thought it was you, but apparently it was Orions.
Ins, he spits. Damn those
Yeah.
pirates. Curse them for the
Oh, I just
dishonor
call
they
them
have made me
thieves.
feel.
They are thieves, so let it out. Let it all out.
Well, it seems I don't exactly have time to let it all out. I am Captain Cannock, and this is what remains of my crew. We were able to survive because the Orions locked us away in one of the holds whilst they were busy taking over my ship. But it seems that they have done a poor job at keeping her intact, because we are hearing nothing but creaks, groans, and sputters and sparks. What is the situation on my ship?
Your engine's about to explode in like probably 10 minutes now.
Is there no way we can repair them?
No.
Let me out. Bonnet to Tavish!
Girani's
I need
looking
you to
at
talk-
Bonnet like, what am I, chopped liver?
Oh yeah, hey, Girardi, can they fix it? Sorry, I forgot you're part of the engineer crew.
Yes, I'm still here. Nice. Yes, I'm
Hello,
still here.
Bonnet, you called? What do you want?
Can the Klingon ship be repaired or no?
I'm not over there. Talk to the engineer who is over there.
Who would that be again?
No one.
Ronnie!
Girani's reaching back for her Ushan Tor. Klingons aren't the only ones with honor, you know.
Hey, Shirani, you're gonna get. I'm gonna give you an extra day off next week.
Girani takes a look into the engineering section. Yeah, Chief, it's a bit of a mess, but you know what? After what Bonnet has just said, I reckon I can fix it.
You go, girl.
Yeah. You see if I can't.
I believe you can do this. If you need delicate, if you need like precise hands, the doctor's there.
That's a good point.
And
Is the
I
doctor
mean,
with?
Bonnet's there as well. So you know, get her to give you a hand as well.
All right. You can attempt to stabilize the Klingon core if you wish. Or would you rather just flee?
You know, Bonnie's going to try to up Girani more by saying, I don't think you have time.
She's got a real growl on her face. Her antennae slump downwards and point in the direction of Bonnet.
Can I ask? Is the comm badge open still?
Yes, there's some interference on the line, but you can hear what's going on. Absolutely.
Are you trying to kill, the doctor and one of my team?
You just hear her keep saying that she doesn't have time, and like, you think she might be telling the truth, but it
Look,
could also be
It sounds
antagonizing.
like, yeah,
You never
she's-
know.
it sounds like she's goading Girani. The Klingons, meanwhile,
goading.
are stood back just watching this exchange, not sure what's going
Right.
on.
So, Zorani, have a look into it. If it can be fixed, fix it. If it can't be done, yeah, in the time you've got, then get out.
Well, the rest of you, those that aren't engineers, head to our ship and get as comfortable as possible.
Okay. Dr. Sot can have can either try and assist Girani, because let's see, Bonnet's got engineering 3, Dr. Sot's got engineering 2, so Sot's not unhandy, if there is such a word. A cursory examination of the Klingons shows that they've got mostly superficial wounds, probably from fights. But none of them look like they are critical or going to die anytime soon, so they can be left to just make their way to the shuttle bay themselves, if Sot would prefer to assist with the attempt to stabilize the warp core.
I'm a doctor, not an engineer, you know.
Even
Not sure
so,
I'd
he
get
does have an
it.
engineer rating of 2, so he's not bad.
Okay, I'll assist.
Just
I
Girani.
believe in you, Doctor.
What about Bonnet? Is she assisting, or is she getting in the shuttle ready to get people off?
Gonna try to help Girani, see if she needs it. If not, then yeah,
Okey-dokey.
getting the ship ready.
Captain Cannock will oversee so that he can at least tell you what you're looking at. So, Connie, if I can get you to be Girani again. It looks like Girani might be leading this, which is interesting.
You got this, Zorani.
So, because it's using an unfamiliar system, I'm going to say this is going to be daring and engineering. This falls under maintenance because you're trying to stabilize the warp core. Daring and engineering well, daring for Sot isn't exactly great, but he can do engineering. Which might be where we buy some extra dice, perhaps, for those who aren't as able. Likewise, Bonnet isn't great at daring, but that's what's going to have to be done, I'm afraid.
Any focuses?
Ooh. Warp theory will do very well for Bonnet. Sot, not so much. Although, that being said, Sot could use cultural studies to translate the interface.
What I was thinking too, as well as for Bonnet, because he does have cultural studies too.
Yeah, so between the two of you, yeah, you do have a focus there. So, both Sot and Bonnet could instead use reason and engineering to help translate the interface so that Girani can use daring and engineering to try and stabilize the core. So if that sounds agreeable, then I will be wanting 1 dice of control and engineering from both Bonnet and Sot, with 2 dice daring and engineering for Girani, please. Well done, Dr. Sot. See, a doctor of many talents.
Oh.
Same goes for Bonnet, both doing a stellar job at translating the interface. 1, 2, 3 successes, that was exactly what you needed. Girani can do up to 4. You do have momentum in the pool. If you spent 2, you could increase the amount of work by 1, and therefore get 50% of the job done, and therefore gain a breakthrough.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 extra, you gain a breakthrough, which means that you can lower the difficulty.
Oh, and because I used reason, and it's an extended task.
Yeah. So you ignored the resistance, which is what I assumed was going on
Yep.
anyway, so that's fine. So you can lower the difficulty. So it's a lot easier a task the second time around. You are starting to run out of time, though, so 1 more shot at this is what you get.
Alright.
So, same again. 1 from Sot, 1 from Bonnet, 2 from Girani, unless you're buying buying extra dice with momentum.
I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think
Well,
we're good.
so-
We should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, we have
Yeah.
Bonnet not quite being successful. Let's see how Sot does.
Am I rolling again? Sorry.
Yes,
I thought
please. Same as
Ah,
before.
beg your pardon.
Second verse, same as the first. Ooh, both of them 16s. So now it's all on Girani. Oh
Legion of Honor.
dear.
He hasn't got a Legion of Honor.
Legion of Honor and no successes. You can succeed at cost.
She hasn't got a Legion of Honor, has she?
She
Dr. Shot does.
He does. Girani does.
Oh, shit, she does.
No successes whatsoever. You can try and succeed at cost.
I love the idea of like Tavish just like heckling over the comm badge. She hasn't got a medal.
What? He has?
Nobody told
Oh.
me.
Do we want to succeed at cost?
One Mississippi. 2 Mississippi.
I mean, you know, succeeding's good, isn't it? High stakes. We want to. What kind of cost are we talking? I say we succeed.
Succeed
Yeah,
at cost.
yeah, I'm
Alrighty.
leaning towards that as well.
What are we talking, like £5?
Okay, so whereas the translation did nothing, Girani has to essentially go by the seat of her pants, pulls out a few wires and replugs them in different places. The Klingon core powers back to mostly life, so it's stable for the time being. But there's still a let me think. I can't say a countdown because if you stabilize the core, it just means that it's now introduced another complication. Alright, so a power surge goes through the systems and that blows out a few conduits as the rebalancing of energy is less than perfect. That means that for the moment, the let me think. The core isn't going to explode, but it means there are now power surges happening across the Klingon ship, and 1 or 2 of those are blocking access to the shuttle bay, which is your way out. Those power surges are also making it extremely difficult for the combs to get any kind of transporter lock on you. Essentially, that means that Team Shuttle are going to have to take the long way round the Klingon ship in order to get back to the shuttle and escape. What knock-on effects those will have? Well, we'll get to that. But that does mean that the Klingon captain will have to lead Girani, Bonnet, and Sot on a somewhat more circuitous route to get back to the shuttle. So for the moment, the shuttle's drive is... not the shuttle's drive, pardon me. The Klingon battlecruiser's warp core is not going to go critical, but it's still not in a great shape. And you're going to have to take a delayed, longer than before trek to get back to the shuttle bay and get the shuttle off of the battlecruiser. So... on the way there, Captain Cannock states that if you need any assistance dealing with those traitorous Orions, my crew and I are more than willing to help your security teams scour your ship for them and eliminate them painfully.
They are thieves, so I have no problems with it. Though, if my captain hears me say that, I'll probably get a reprimand. Who cares? They deserve it. They're worse than Romulans in some cases.
I'm just saying, I know an old lady who's fallen
dokey do. So, back on the bridge. Those of you who have still been on the bridge this entire time have noticed that the creature that identified itself as Chew simply seems content to watch what's going on. Hasn't made any attempt to communicate again. Is looking at everybody else running around doing their various tasks. And this becomes the point at which the modifications to the tractor beam that you wanted to do plan spinny round are going to have to come into effect. So if you want to modify the tractor beam, that suggests that Flask, Tavish and Gurkow are the only ones left behind who are qualified to do such. So from you guys, I am going to require a Reason and Engineering task at difficulty 3. Gurkow can, of course, do the reading and change that to Science if she wants to.
Is there a momentum for that if everyone's
There's 3 momentum in the pool.
doing it?
Nice.
Who wants to lead?
Do you want me to lead?
It is an engineering task.
Would this be power systems or computers?
This is altering the tractor beam, so...
Would experimental technology work?
No, because it's a tractor beam.
Oh.
It's not experimental, it's a known quantity. I think you're going to have to go for talent alone on this one.
What if we tried to make the tractor beam
Flask has
color at the same time as experimental?
deflector shield, force field technology.
Aha,
Would
that
that
could help.
apply?
Is Chris talking? I can hear Chris.
I don't know if it's Chris or Sirenscape. I don't know.
I was, but I was adding literally nothing.
It is Chris.
You're very,
Oh.
very quiet.
It sounds really
Oh.
far away.
There
Is
we go.
that better?
That's better.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
fine.
Yeah.
my microphone was up. I was adding nothing of value. I was just saying, what if we tried to make the tractor beam a funky pink color? That's experimental.
Well, no. But I like the attempt.
Oh,
Down.
It's not experimental if it's just if you just change the color to pink. Now, again, it's a tractor beam. You know what you're doing. You're just altering the means by which you're using it from the average. So it's the same old tech. It's just you're using it in a different fashion. So,
okay.
but you've still got a top rating in engineering, so you should be okay.
And I'm only one away from being at a top rating in Reason as well. So.
Yep, so you should be good to lead. So are Flask and Gurkow joining in, or is it just Gurkow?
Don't see why we can't have Flask.
Yep.
Argue about? No, it seems okay, then just Gurkow.
Okay then.
Alright. 2 dice.
If you wish.
Legion of
yeah.
Honor.
That's
Oh my God.
happening an awful lot to you at the moment.
It's like it's all downhill now.
Yeah,
Would you like me to use a determination here?
it's entirely up to you.
Mhm.
It depends on how much you want
Bonnet.
Operation Spinny Round to succeed.
Connie, do you want me to use my determination here?
I mean, if
I
you
can
wanted-
use my
Gurk-
determination as
Yeah,
well.
you could use your determination to re-roll that 20.
I'll do that.
Alright then. Which value do we say that Gurkow is using for this? Risk taker.
Her anal retentive value.
Try again until it's perfect. Gotcha.
Exactly.
No, this will succeed. Alright,
I am going to use my determination here
okay.
as well.
was close. It was a 1, then it
I
rolled
was-
over onto a 19.
Bloody hell.
Yes, quite. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Right, it's all down to Tavish.
Hold on.
Difficulty 3, remember, so.
Modding. Correct beam. Beam for op dot. Binny round.
Alrighty.
I can't believe I just put that in my character notes.
I can. I was right here when it happened. A special memory I now have.
Modding tractor beam for Operation Spinny Round.
Okay then.
Okay.
Difficulty
and
3, it's all on Tavish. So if you've spent a point of determination,
one-
that's 2
yeah, just one.
already.
Okay.
You've
Alright.
guaranteed 2 successes by using a
It's just
determination.
It's
So
just one dice, isn't
you
it?
just need 1. Yes. Unless you're buying another with momentum.
Do you want me to?
It's up to you guys how much you want this to succeed.
Do you want to succeed, Connie?
I want a
take them
spinny spin.
All right. We'll take 1 and we'll make it 2.
Alright then.
Just to let you know, I haven't got a Legion of Honor.
So it's nail
so we
biting
are-
time then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice. Nice. Alright then. So.
We need to use spinny round as an actual maneuver in battle.
Shot put maneuver. Well, you never know, it could work. Right, so in the time it takes for Tavish and Gurkau to do the necessary changes to the tractor beam, the team Franken shuttle managed to make it back to the combs with the Klingon crew in tow, because let's face it, their ship isn't exactly all that intact, and so the likelihood of the Klingon ship going up is quite high. Now, this of course makes a good number of the crew uncomfortable, because technically you are in direct conflict with the Klingons. But Captain Cannock does insist on coming to the bridge. And let me just put these guys off to one side. But Captain Cannock does state quite emphatically, "We have a common enemy in the Orions, and at this moment we are both caught in this anomaly. Therefore, it stands to reason we should cooperate in order to see the situation through. So, if you will do me the honor, we will assist you in this endeavor." So, Captain Sobek is definitely up for this spirit of cooperation. Who knows? Captain Cannock could always go back to the Klingon Empire after all this is done, and it might get you all one step closer to peace with the Klingon Empire. Who knows? But until that time, you still have the situation at hand to deal with. The tractor beam has now been altered, and you are ready to perform the maneuver. Now, if I remember what you told me, the idea was to essentially spin and throw the Klingon ship, and the combs was going to be still hanging on to it, so that when you launch the Klingon ship out, it drags the combs with it. Was that the general idea?
I think so. Connie?
like the Olympian doing the hammer throw, but
Yeah.
the hammer goes with throw. Or
The person goes with the hammer.
exactly.
So you still
Sounds
hang on to
incredibly-
the shot put when you release it. Gotcha. Sorry, Chris, what was that?
I was going to say, what kind of Looney Tunes logic is this?
This is Starfleet. That's all.
That is a good point. Most of the command crew are part of a Klingon house, yes. It's been dissuaded. The crew have been dissuaded from too openly wearing Klingon house insignia, whilst we're still technically at war, because some members of the crew and Starfleet in general feel a bit uncomfortable with that. But nonetheless, yes, you are parts of a Klingon house, and Captain Canuck would very much like to hear that story some other time. Of course, Captain Canuck is also very much put off by the fact that there is a giant floating four-eyed head in there, and he gives everyone the look of, what is that? But nevertheless, Operation Shot Put and Hang On, or Hammer Throw and Hammer Throw and Hang On, is ready to initiate. Spinny, spinny, round, round.
I was just gonna call it Operation Thor. when he swings his hammer and uses it to fly.
Right, indeed. You know, that's actually a good analogy. I'm surprised I didn't think of it. In which case, you all brace yourselves, and then you engage the tractor beam. I have to see this. What is this? Yeah, there we are. A steady stream of energy connects your ship with the critically damaged Klingon ship. A few moments pass without apparent effect, but then sensor readings note that the warship is in fact being pushed into the singularity by your beam, rather than away from it. The high pitch of the tractor beam changes in tone as it switches from push to pull. The ship beneath your boots lurches to and fro, and then you feel the slightest sensation of movement as the drifting warship begins to pull your ship into the singularity as well. And then, suddenly, all light and sound snaps off, and you are plunged into utter darkness and silence. And so, as you can imagine, that's where we end today's episode. So, something happened. Operation Spinny Spinny Round didn't quite go off as you expected. Why did it not go? Go on.
I gave the perfect gift, by the way.
Yes, you did. I saw that and I winced. Poor guy getting hit in the crotch by a hammer. Shit. Oh. I worry if the guy actually suffered any kind of pelvic break of his pelvis. There we are. Oof. Nevertheless. So yes, we have come to the end of episode 2 of this three-parter story. So, what happens next? We will have to wait, and not only have to wait, we're going to have to wait 2 weeks before we resolve this. For 2 reasons. 1, I usually put a break of a week in between episodes, and 2, if I recall, we have no Liz next week.
Yes, I won't be here on the 25th.
So, we will have to wait until the 1st of June. Good lord, the year is disappearing. Nevertheless, that is when we shall meet again. So let me just confirm with the rest of the crew here that everybody is available for 2 weeks' time to resolve this.
As of right now, yes.
I believe so.
I mean, same as Liz, I think. As of right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, you good for 2 weeks' time?
I think so. I think I'm pretty much with everybody else. Like, you know, as of now, yes.
Yeah, as of right now, life says yes.
Marky Mark, you've been very quiet up until this point, so in some format or other that
I don't actually know on the 30th. I think I might be busy.
It's not the 30th, it's the weekend of the 30th to the 1st.
The weekend of the 30th, sorry.
So let us
I'll have
know
to get
one
back to-
way or the
I'll
other.
let you know.
So, what's going on? Did something fail? Did they not get enough successes? Did Operation Spinny Round go so silly? Is this part of the success through complication? What is actually going on with this creature called Chew? Couldn't it have chosen a better name? We'll have to find out in the next part of our episode. But let us not forget that we now have not only Orions still on board the Combs, but now we have Klingons too. So it's
Yeah, but
all
at least the
getting-
Klingons are honorable.
So far, yes. So far. But until then, this is where we call an end to our episode. So for those who have actually been tuning in during the course of our stream to both Twitch and Moonbeam, thank you very much for hanging around. We hope to see you again for the resolution of this three-parter, which will begin in 2 weeks' time. For those who are watching this on YouTube, as per usual, if you enjoyed this, consider giving us a like, because it not only helps us, but other channels who do actual plays of role-playing games, and of course anything to do with Star Trek. So it all helps with the algorithm, our Lord and Master. In the meantime, we ask you to do like the Vulcans do, which is to live long and prosper, but also, yeah, if former enemies are willing to cooperate in the name of making everybody safe, then yeah, perhaps we can see to overcoming our differences on the path to peaceful coexistence, let us hope. But also engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations, especially during these worryingly regressive times that we seem to be living in at the moment. But until such time as we meet again for Star Trek Sunday, next Sunday will be our evening session of Pathfinder 1st Edition, so if you're interested in fantasy, come along to that. Until that time, though, we will ask you all to look after each other, treat each other with love and respect, because, well, we need that in this day and age. And we will see you when we see you next. Until then, hailing frequencies are now closed.